Hello and welcome back to Rule the Game. In this video I'll show you how to play Courtisans, a game by Romaric, Galonnier and Anthony Perone, published by Pandasaurus. It's a game for 2 to 5 players, lasts about 20 minutes and it's recommended starting at age 8. As usual, I'll start with telling you how to score this game, then I'll show you how to play the game. I'll give you some hints for the first game, and in the end I'll show you how to set it up. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe on the link below. But now let's get started with Courtisans.
Rule the game.
Courtisans is a game of influence. Whoever owns the most card of a family that has the most influence wins the game. This is part of what the game looks like at the end. You have a table, the Queen's table in the middle, with families with cards that are above and cards that are below the mats that you have in the middle. Every player also has a bunch of cards of different families, and maybe here there's some cards that you can't actually see. Every player also has 2 bonus cards. At the end of the game, we'll take all the cards that are here face down, we'll turn around, and we'll add them to the families of the same color, as so. We'll then have a look at which families have a majority cards above the table and which have a majority below the table. For each cards that you have of a family that has more cards on top of the table, you'll get 1 point per card. For each family that has more cards here below the table, you'll get a minus point if you have these cards on your board. Let's have a look here. You'll see, for example, this family here has 3 cards here up on top, 1 on the bottom. You also see that this card has actually a noble, and the noble says times 2, and times 2 means that this card counts like 2 cards, so there are like 4 cards here and 1 card here. So there are more cards above, so this family will be positive, meaning that the 4 cards, including a noble, so 5 cards actually, these 5 cards gives me 5 plus points. This family here only has 1 card on the bottom. So in this case, for each of these cards that I have here, I get a minus point. I have 5 for these cards, so I'll get minus 5. I'm now at 0, plus 5, minus 5. This family here has 3 on top and 2 on the bottom, but there's a noble here, so it counts as 3 on the bottom. So it's equal, 3 and 3, which means this family doesn't count at all. And then the last family that I own, the red one, has 1 on top and 3 on the bottom. So this also counts as negative points, so I get minus 2 points here. I have a total of minus 2 points. Then you also look at your bonus cards. There's one here that says the hares, which is the yellow color. They must have fallen from grace at court, meaning that there are more cards on the bottom of the table than on the top. Here we have a tie, so I did not achieve that, which means I don't get any points for this. And the second one says you must have at least 2 assassins. 2 assassins are the ones here with the knife. And I actually, let me see, I have 1, but I don't have a second one, so I didn't achieve this either. So I don't get any points from the bonus cards, and in general I had only minus 2 points. I get minus 2 points in this game. This doesn't necessarily mean that I lost this game, because many people will have negative points. But with minus 2 points, I probably didn't do too well. Courtisans is a turn-based game. On your turn, you start with exactly 3 cards. You'll have to place these 3 cards in 3 different areas on the table. The order in which you play these doesn't matter, you can decide, but it's important that you play them in 3 different areas. The 3 different areas are: 1, your own area, where you just take one of those cards and place it down with the other cards of the same color. Second, the court of the queen, meaning this table in the middle, where you take a card and you either put it on the positive side of a family or you put it on the negative side. You decide which side you want to play and which color you want to play. And the last card you're actually going to give to one of your opponents. You decide to whom, and they'll take that and add it to their family of the same color. Again, you decide in which order you play this, and you decide which card goes where. Once you've played all your 3 cards, you'll take 3 more cards from the deck, and you're going to be ready for the next turn. But first, all the other players will go in clockwise order, and then once it comes back to you, you have your 3 cards, you play once again, 1 on your side, 1 on the Queen's court, and 1 with another player. The game ends when the deck has run out and everybody else has no card left anymore. That's when we start the counting. Now there are 4 special cards in this game. One is the noble that we saw before. The noble counts as 2 cards, as it says here, times 2. There's also a spy. The spy is always placed face down, meaning you either give it to another player or you take it to yourself and put it down face down. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody of the other players will be able to see it because nobody's allowed to turn it around until we start scoring. If you place your spy at the Queen's court, you'll either place it face down on the bottom, so it will actually count against the families, or you place it up here, so we'll count for the different families. Then there's the assassin. If you play an assassin with either myself or with an opponent, you'll play the assassin with your color, and then you can kill any of these cards. One of those cards, whatever you choose, will go on the discard pile. Should you decide to play an assassin here in the middle, you can kill whichever card you want from the top or from the bottom, no matter where I place this card. So in this case, I could decide to get rid of this noble. The one card you cannot kill is the guard. If you have a guard somewhere, this card will not be able to be assassinated by an assassin, no matter where you play it. And here's some hints for the first game. There's actually not too much that I can tell you about how to play it. You'll get the hang of it very quickly. The few things I want to tell you are about the distribution of cards and what kind of bonus cards there actually are. So, for example, here the special cards, the nobles exist 4 times per color, per family. The guards exist 3 times per family, and the spies and the assassins exist 2 times per family. And then when it comes to the bonus cards, you have the white ones here that have all to do with the cards that you own yourself. And it is either that these cards are about you owning a certain number of special cards. So like in this case, you must own at least 3 nobles, or they have to do with you owning less than the person to the left of you. Now, it's only the person to the left of you. The person to the right of you doesn't really matter. They might have a card that actually says that they need something less than you do. But all the cards are either you own a certain number of certain cards, or you own less than the person to the left of you. Now, these bonus cards here, they're all about what's happening here at the courts table. And they're all about having more cards on the negative side than the positive side. So the game is trying to push you towards being more destructive, going for more negative points than positive points if you want to have these 3 victory points from these bonus cards. So there's always something like here where the hares must be fallen from grace at court, which means there are more yellow cards on the bottom, there on the top. So you can play this game rather destructively, you can play it very constructively. If you play most cards up here, everybody is going to be happy because everybody has plus points, but where's the fun in that? So you're probably going to try to get your 3 victory points here from these bonus cards by putting more cards here on the bottom. More families will fall from grace, and therefore there will be more people with negative points, but you can always give a negative points to, or even 2 negative points to one of your opponents, because one of your 3 core cards will go to an opponent. So yeah, You decide if you want to be a positive person or if you want to be a little more aggressive here. Why not? And that's Courtisans. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please subscribe below. And if you want to see how to set up the game, a very short section coming up right now. To set up the game, you place the mat with the courts table here in the middle. You then take the deck of cards. You'll remove some cards depending on how many players you are. If you're 2 players, you remove 30 cards. If you have 3 players, you remove 18 cards. And if you have 4 players, you remove 6 cards from the deck. You shuffle the rest of the cards. You hand out 3 cards to every player in the game. And you put the deck next to the mat. You'll then also shuffle the bonus cards, the white ones and the dark ones separately, and you hand one of the bonus cards of each color to each player. You can return the rest of the bonus cards to the box. And that's already it. All you have to do is decide who's the starting player and you're ready to go.